Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast by Closers.io where we dive into journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jet Boardman, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind successful startups, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future expansion. Today, we're excited to have Midori Verity, the founder of the Viva Code and the CEO of Fuel to Fire, joining us. Midori is a business scaling strategist who has spent over 25 years empowering entrepreneurs, particularly women, to achieve exponential growth through clear goal setting and actionable strategies. Midori, welcome to the Founder Future.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you on here. So let's just start right from the beginning. What was the spark to help you start Fuel to the Fire and eventually Viva Code? And what was your mission like to get everything running?
Yeah, so the mission was always the same. It's about helping women entrepreneurs create personal and financial freedom using the success of their company. So that was the impetus to everything. But just to back up, the only thing that I'm good at, Jet, is business. I've owned businesses for 3 decades, and honestly, it's the only thing that I'm good at. And so pre-pandemic, I was doing consulting with one-on-one clients. And then the pandemic hit, and what I saw was these people who owned businesses freak out, right? They kind of froze. They didn't know what to do. When you've owned companies as long as I have, you just kind of get it's just part of the path, right? You're going to get punched in the gut, you're going to get knocked out at the knees, and you just build up a resilience. So I saw that at that point it was men and women didn't know how to navigate through this changing environment. And so at that point I thought, okay, how can I help more people at a better price point and help the masses? And so that's when I launched Fuel the Fire. And that is an organization that is about helping women entrepreneurs get to that next level.
Mhm.
It's a different structure than what I have in Viva. So the evolution was Fuel the Fire is going great, but I wanted to expand into global. I really wanted to reach even more people. So at that point, I partnered with a woman named Shalini Videra who already has a network outside of the United States with government entities and then some pretty profound business entities. So we partnered, and that's what we're doing now so we can get a bigger reach.
Got it. Okay, cool. So you've been an entrepreneur for a number of years now, and you've worked in a lot of different industries. How have your experiences through other industries influenced the way you approach coaching and community building with the Viva Code?
Really, Jet, it's about under making sure you do things in the right order, right? And that you're focusing on the right things. From working with so many entrepreneurs over the years, I see the same type of stumbling issues that come up. I went through it too. So that's how I recognize it so well. Yeah, I've made every mistake out there, but then working with all these people, you see them working so damn hard, but they're doing things out of order or they're not focusing on the right things. And so that's how I come about. It doesn't matter what industry it is, it doesn't matter what kind of business it is. It's those core components that really matter when it comes to building any kind of business.
Yeah, that's huge. Now you touched on something I was actually going to go into anyway, but many founders face a moment where they, almost give up. Did you have when it sounds like you did, um, either transitioning or how did you push through that moment of like, I don't know if I can get through this part?
Okay, well, which moment? Because there's been a ton. There's been so many over the years. Um, and I think it's just kind of, it becomes your DNA changes when you become an entrepreneur. You're either
Mm,
made for this or you're not, right? And so, um, from doing this from when I was basically early 20s being an entrepreneur, you just build up this resilience, right?
mhm.
And now things don't affect me as much. But probably if I was going to give someone advice, I would say always look for the opportunity. So yes, maybe there's a huge challenge that happened that might mean that you need to exit or you need to pivot and change. What is it? But how can you stay in alignment with where you want to go in life and in your career? And then what are the new opportunities that are there? So for instance, the pandemic hit, right? And so I saw an opportunity there. So we started Fuel the Fire. And then there were some other things that were going on with the world that were kind of crazy. And I decided I really want to reach more people outside of just the United States. And so that's when we launched Viva. So that's what I mean by looking for the opportunities in the challenge.
Got it. I love that. I love that. Now, kind of tying that in, you post a lot about setting goals and having big goals, right? What would you say is the most audacious goal you've set for yourself or your business, and how did it shape your journey?
Oh gosh, I'm always setting crazy goals. And I'll tell you, I set crazy goals all the time, but it doesn't mean I always hit them. However, I'm always going in the right direction in general, right?
Mhm.
So, one thing was to sell two companies in 2 years, and we did. It took a lot of planning to do that, and so we were luckily in place to make that happen. But I would say that was probably the most audacious goal that I can think of right now.
Sell two
Is
businesses
that,
in 2 years.
uh-huh.
That's awesome. It's funny. You think of like the advice you get when you're a kid, right? I remember sitting in like my social studies class in junior high, having the banner on the wall that said shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll still be in the stars," right? Kind of same thing you're talking about. You don't always say it, but you're at least on the right path. So
Absolutely. Yep.
cool. Well, the coaching industry is often misunderstood. What's one misconception people have about your work with women entrepreneurs that you'd like to address?
Yeah, there's a lot of bad press about coaching, right? There's a lot of people who come out and maybe they got certified in coaching, but yet they have no experience. So that's what I would say is I think coaching is the best thing. I always have at least one coach who I'm working with to help me get to that next level, to help me reflect on things outside of my bandwidth, right? We see things through our
Mhm.
own glasses. And so having that person on the outside can be such a tremendous asset to help you move a lot faster and also notice blind spots that you
Right.
don't notice. However, what I would say is when you're looking for a consultant or a coach, find someone who's been where you want to go. That's the number one piece of advice I can say.
Yeah, that's a huge point. And it's interesting you mentioned like always having a coach, right? If you look at some of the highest performers in history, right? Whether it be sports, business leaders, etc., there's always somebody in the corner, right? Always somebody whispering in the ear. So that's a good point to bring up. So, kind of shifting gears a little bit, talking about the Viva Code specifically. Can you walk us through how the Viva Code is growing and what's helped you to grow it the way you have?
Yeah. So again, always paying attention to what's going on. What's the feedback you're hearing? Be really close with those that you're working with. Talk with them one on one. Ask them questions. Pay attention. And so, what I have seen from working once again with so many different entrepreneurs is they need the same things. We're
Mm,
so busy building our businesses that we don't necessarily realize that we're not concentrating on the right things. So I'm really, really big. You mentioned it earlier. I'm really big on focusing on goals. I have something called the Summit Goal Mapping Framework that we use. But it's just a really simple process of staying focused on where do you want to go? What's it look like when you get to the summit? And
hmm
then work backwards, but do them in chunks. Be really clear on what you're focusing on. So, with that mindset, what I was seeing is these entrepreneurs were so busy trying to do so many different things, killing themselves. When I peeled back everything, it came down to two things almost always. They needed a steady flow of high quality leads. And then once they got them, they needed to be able to close them. They needed to be able to sell to them. Then from there, then they can work on, then they're going to have new challenges, right? They're going to have the
Right.
the growing pains and getting new team members. But those were the core things that I was seeing. So, therefore, getting back to my whole mission of helping women create personal and financial freedom from the success of their
Mhm.
companies, that's what we're doing now, Jed, is we're just laser focused on helping them build out those playbooks for getting the high quality leads that are in alignment with their business. And
Mhm.
then how do you close them? So we started this company, this kind of this division called power sprints. So we do 21 or 30-day sprints focused on just that one area, right? So if you need
Mhm.
higher quality leads, you're getting people who come to you, but they're not really a good fit for your company. So we
Right.
work on that or sales, right? So There's all kinds of sales programs out there. You can hire a sales coach. But what we've done is we've partnered with an AI sales coaching tool that
Mm.
is awesome. This company is like, I wanted their tool, but I don't have 50 SDRs. Like they only work
Right.
with enterprise level companies. I don't have 50 SDRs. So I got to, again, once again, getting back to your earlier question of what do you do when there's challenges, right? Or when you start running into some issues. So at that point, I decided, oh, okay, let's figure out how we can partner together to accomplish what they want and how we can accomplish what we want. And so, what we do now with these 21-day sprints is we take that AI tool, or it can be any type of tech tool or program.
Mhm.
We're the human component. So we're the accelerator. We're the one, the amplification, so that we make sure that you're actually using it and you're getting the most out of it. Have you ever used, like, let me just bring it back. So have you ever used a tool, bought a tool or a program, you're like, this is going to be bomb. This is
Mhm.
exactly what I
Oh
need.
yeah.
It's going to change everything, right? And then you start using it and there's some kind of challenge or you run at it, you're busy. You're just
Mhm.
busy doing everything else. And so you don't actually use it as much as you thought, or you're not getting the best value out of it. So that's where we come in. So that's what the
Yeah.
whole accelerator program's about, is that we have a proprietary process that helps you optimize the tools that are out there so you're getting the best ROI. We're not the sales experts, but the company that we partnered with is. And
Mm.
so we help you implement that and practice and use it and get results from it. So that's what we have going on right
So,
now.
so you're really filling the gap between like you have access to the tool that can get you there, but you're also a busy person. How can we make this work for you?
Yep. And what
Very
can
cool.
we do in 21 days? Let's just get laser. I'm all about that laser focus because you
Yeah.
don't have time to take your eye off the ball, right? It cuts out all the busy stuff that is just a waste of, or not a priority, and gets them focused so they can see results quickly and then they understand how to use it. They're building a habit
Mm.
and they have something that they can carry forward.
I like that. I like that a lot. So with that being said, I'm curious, as someone who has run a coaching program before myself, and obviously you've done a lot as well, what do you feel like you get a better result from? Do you focus more on group coaching, on one-on-one? Is there a mix between the two? What do you feel like has been the most effective?
One-on-one coaching makes the biggest difference, right? Because you have someone who's focused on you, who is thinking about you and opening opportunity, hopefully opening opportunities for you. So I think that's critical part of it. However, having that community of like-minded people around you, right? People who are playing at that crazy level that you want to be playing at, that you're surrounding yourself with, is that part that helps kind of get into your changing your the way that you operate and helps you
Mhm.
play up. Who was that person who said you're the average of the five people that you hang out with?
Oh, I don't remember who it was, but I know the quote.
I can't, it's right there, but I can't think of who it is either. But it's true. And so I feel like if you have that mix, it puts you in a really good place to succeed.
Mm. Yeah. I think Jim Rohn maybe.
It is
Was
Jim
Jim
Rohn.
Rohn. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's a great quote. I love that. So with that being said, right, you're talking about finding the right type of people that you want to work with and that you want to be around, right? For you, as
Mhm.
you've scaled this business, where do you feel like you find the most people? Are you doing like LinkedIn? Is it from your podcast? What's been the most effective channel for you to connect with people that are like-minded?
LinkedIn, for sure,
Okay.
hands down. Yeah.
Both clients and colleagues?
hmm All of it. That's just where we play.
Mm.
So for the level of people that we work with, LinkedIn has been our best asset.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Well, with that going into it, right, talking about acquiring new clients, things like that, for you and for Viva Code, what do you feel like is the biggest bottleneck to your growth right now? Other entrepreneurs that are kind of in your space, what's like a red flag or a pin in the ground you can set out for them?
Well, one thing is what you brought up earlier is the whole connotation of coaching, right? There's so
Mm.
many bad players out there, and people spend so much money with these huge prompt. Someone can be a great marketer, doesn't mean that they can execute well, right? We see that all the time.
Yep.
So that's a big challenge, helping people um, understand that we come from a different place, right? We
Right.
are the real deal. So that's it. And then also getting the message out there.
Okay.
Those
So
would
so
be the two
exposure
things.
and kind of cutting through the noise of like, hey, we're not the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I've often heard coaching like reference to dating, right? There's a lot of bad people you can date out there. There's also some good ones. You just got to find the one that actually works.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So with that being said, I mean, if you could pinpoint one thing, you have a magic wand, you wave it, and it would make the biggest impact on the growth for the Viva Code right now, what would that thing be? Could be marketing, sales, operations, but if you could wave a wand, what would you fix?
It's the right partnerships. It's, getting in with the right organizations that are in alignment with you, who have the target audience that you're working with. It's one of the things that I always recommend to my clients too. Partnerships
Mhm.
are a really great way to grow your company. Um, and so that's what I would say.
Okay. So right partnerships. So maybe an add-on to this question, if you had unlimited resources, whether it's time, budget, team, what would be something you would implement today, given you have unlimited resources?
Mm. Um, that's hard to say. I don't know that probably doing more advertising,
Mm,
pay per click type of ads. Once the messaging is, well, our messaging is pretty good, but I'd want to improve that and then do some targeted advertising. And I'm hesitant to say that because with advertising, you can go under really quick if you're not careful
it's true.
with your dollars and your strategy. So that's what I would
Okay.
say.
If
However,
it,
but also with that, our first company, we used Google AdWords and that skyrocketed our business. But that's back when you could like tweak a word. I'm
right.
old. I'm like 105 years old. So I'm old. I've been doing this a long time. But you could tweak one word and everything would change. Your phone would start ringing. But it's not that way anymore. Now it's really expensive. And so,
It it is. Yeah, the marketing industry is crazy right now. And it's actually a good transition to what I was going to ask next. So because the industry, especially coaching, is changing so rapidly, how do you see the coaching industry changing over the next few years?
mm, I don't know. I don't see it changing too much. It's been around for a while. More people are getting certified, which really doesn't mean a whole lot. A lot of coaches come to me and they don't know how to get clients, right? They might be pretty good at what they do, but they don't know how to get clients. And so that's one of the challenges in the industry when they are certifying people is they might teach them how to guide a client, but they're not teaching them how to build a business at the same time.
Right. Right. Okay. You're expecting the market to become more and more saturated, if you will, but not a risk if they're not actually good coaches, what you're saying.
Yeah, in fact, I do think now that I'm thinking about it more, I think it will become more saturated as people are losing their jobs, as
Hmm.
tech companies are cutting back, right? So you have these brilliant people out there who've been doing something for a long time. They have something to share. They don't know necessarily what to go into. So consulting, coaching is an it seems like an easier
Yeah.
next step, and maybe they don't want to be in corporate America anymore, right? They're burnt
Yeah.
out on that. So I see that happening. I see a lot of challenges from that though too.
Yeah. It's I don't know if you've noticed this as well, but even the fractional game has become really big in the last few years, right? People just kind of working for multiple companies at the same time. So it sounds like for you your strategy is just lean into what you're good at, do what you know how to do, and let that kind of lead the way for everyone you bring in.
Yep, and find the right people to surround yourself with who can help you along the way.
I love it. I love it. Okay. We're gonna go rapid fire, three questions. Just kind of cap this off. First one, what's one tool or resource that's been a game changer for the Viva Code or for your coaching business? I know you mentioned this AI system you were working with. Would you say that's it, or is there one other thing you'd say is like the game changer?
So that's awesome. I would say there's a company called Axe Automation,
Uh-huh.
which is awesome at helping you. For those of us who are not technically inclined and don't have a lot of time, but understand the value of automation, they're great and really simple. They create a really simple system so that you have
Got it. You said Axe
automated tools.
Automation?
Axe Automation.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Just so anyone listening can snag that. Okay, number two, what's the best piece of advice you've received about scaling a business?
Focus on what really matters, right? Cut out, think of everything that you can cut out and what needs to happen to get you to that next level and just focus on that. The other part of that is know where you want to go. Remember, we talked about the summit goal
Mhm.
mapping framework. Know where you want to go and build backwards from there.
I love that. Okay. Last one, and this is kind of your chance to leave your stamp at the end of this recording. What advice would you give to women founders who are just starting their journey and dream of living vivaciously, as you put it?
Yeah. Find someone who can help you. Don't try to do it yourself because you may be trying to save some pennies here and there. Um, but when you have your own business, it's part of you. It's emotional, right? So find someone, the best person that you can afford to hire to help you. Also, there's a lot of free resources, SBA, SCORE, but go get help. Don't do it by yourself.
Love it. Thank you. All right, and that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. I want to thank Midori for sharing her incredible journey and insights with us today. It's been amazing to hear about your mission to empower women entrepreneurs and your vision for scaling the Viva Code. And for everyone, all of our listeners, if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their sales and marketing efforts through world-class systems and playbooks. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.